I'm talking to somebody here.
Good morning.
Well, I was thinking you were borrowing those headphones I used after the first couple of games.
Oh, no, we're good. We're good. Coach, go ahead. Thanks for joining us this morning. Our first question today will come from Dina King. So, Dina, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. With Bo Corrales being out, how was your opinion, thoughts on Emory Simmons?
Emory did a good job Saturday, you know, and one of the things that we have right now in our pocket is a lot of depth at wide receiver. You know, Antoine Green and Joffrey Brown have both played, and this was probably Emory's most consistent time in terms of him being out there play after play after play. He caught everything we threw to him. He did a good job blocking. And so we feel right now with Bo being out that we have a good number of guys to play at the wideout spot that we have so much confidence in. So I think as the season goes on, you're going to see all of those guys.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Andrew Jones.
Hey, Coach, what about the offensive line do you like about the way they progressed since fall camp started, especially with respect to run blocking?
You know, I think a lot of that has to do with the week-to-week progress that we make. I also think that, you know, and I've said this a few times this year, you know, last year these were a bunch of freshmen that had very few starts and very few starts together, you know, and what happens when you have veterans come back up front is they get used to playing with each other, making the calls and doing the things that they do from run scheme standpoint to a pass protection standpoint. And you know, they're playing. There's a lot of unity up front right now. I think we're more physical up front this year than we were last year. And, you know, it certainly helps when your running backs are, you know, both of them are elite this season. And that helps us too. But it is the biggest benefit, I'd say, is the fact that they have a lot of experience playing together. And, you know, so it's good to have veterans up front.
How much a part of the running success is also the way the receivers have blocked downfield and Garrett and the different responsibilities he's had in the blocking schemes?
Well, you know, with regards to explosive runs, you have, you know, Coach Searles has really gotten our guys on the O-line to block at the second level much better, and the receivers are doing a better job than they did. More active. I think we're taking more pride in our blocking. And so what happens is when they open an initial hole and we have an offensive lineman or receiver locking somebody up in that 5 to 8 yard range, you know, it'll cut Michael or Javonte loose. And so I really think that's the biggest reason. I hate to take away from the ability of our two running backs. They're just terrific. But I think both of them would tell you, we're helping them at the second level right now with the O-line second level blocking and the receiver blocking on the perimeter. And that includes our tight ends out there, because Garrett and Kamari have done a good job.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Alyssa Ray, go ahead.
Kind of piggybacking off those offensive line questions, what kind of confidence have you seen between Javonte and Michael as this season progresses with more success in the run game, also the success of the offensive line?
You know, there's continuity there. The running backs appreciate the offensive line. You know, they take care of them the way they need to during the week. And I think there's a lot of pride in the O-line room with reference to our rushing yards and how much we protect Sam in the passing game. I think the running backs are they seemed excited going into the season, knowing that they were going to be a bigger part of the pass game. So we're elevating the number of run touches that they get, but we're increasing the number of total touches by, you know, getting them the screens and the swing throws and you know, all of that stuff, all the ways in the pass game to get them the ball. And it's allowing us to attack on the perimeter a little bit with those guys as well, not just in between the tackles. You know, and as Coach Brown points out, anytime we are able to get Javonte and Michael going, it opens up everything else in the offense. And that's when we're able to take advantage of some of the speed that we have at receiver as well.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, let's go to Gregory Hall.
Hey, Phil, you guys have obviously made it an emphasis to be about as balanced as possible on the offense. When preparing for a team like Virginia that has proven to be way more susceptible in the passing game, how do you kind of keep keep that balance grounded and not just try and air it out and attack their weakness?
Well, this whole approach doesn't change from week to week, and I bore you saying this, but we're always going to take what they give. I mean, some of you are smiling. You know I'm going to say that. We're always going to take what they give, and if it's 70 runs or 70 passes, it doesn't matter. I don't ever go into a game saying, hey, look, I go into a game thinking we definitely need to establish physicality up front. We need to establish the run game. We definitely want to stretch the secondary. How much we do either one of those really comes down to what the defense decides to employ to stop us. And so as the game goes on, you know, you take what they give us, and if that means we're going to run the ball for over 300 yards, so be it. A W is a W. If it means we're going to throw for over 300, then that's fine. So what we need to do is put our plan together, make sure that the guys know the plan on Saturday, and then it's all about their execution. And so if you're going to load the box with 9 people and give us individual matchups, then we're going to take them. And if you're going to have a lighter box, we're going to run the football. And then, this week, I think I've got to do a better job of making sure that we distribute the ball to everybody. So we utilize all of our weapons.
All right, let's go over to Ross Martin.
Hey, Coach, I have a little kind of off-topic question. You coached DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown at Ole Miss. Obviously, DK Metcalf is in the news a lot after that big play yesterday. What was it like having those offensive talents, and particularly with Metcalf and how athletic and physically imposing he is at the wide receiver position?
DK to me is a special human being. DK is without a doubt one of the top 3 hardest working players I've ever had the fortunate I've ever been around. I mean, I've been so fortunate to be able to coach a guy like that. And when you think about a football player from a personality standpoint, a character standpoint, a work ethic standpoint, and just from an athletic ability standpoint, it doesn't get any better than DK. To see where he was when I first met him, and it has nothing to do with me, but to see where he was when I first met him, watch how hard he worked to improve, and to see what kind of product he was when he first went to the combine and entered the draft, and now to watch him produce in the NFL the way he's doing. He had a play last night in the game where he ran down, I can't remember who it was, the little guy, speedster. Yeah, Baker, right? And he ran him down, I think, inside the 5-yard line and wound up saving a touchdown. And that's a big reason why Seattle still had a chance to win the game late in the deal. And that play in a nutshell encapsulates what DK Metcalf is all about. Unselfish, high effort, going to do anything he can to help the team. He's the same way off the field. And, I actually texted Coach Brown. I thought that would be an awesome play to show our players just from a great football play, unselfishness standpoint. And, I couldn't think of a better representation of DK than the play that he made last night.
Great. Thank you.
All right, let's go to JB Ricks.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking out the time. Forgive me if you've already been asked this question before, but I'm curious to know if you've ever had a running back duo like Michael Carter and Javonte Williams before during your coaching career, and what does it mean to have a 1-2 punch like that to work with when it comes to the offensive schemes and the play calls that you want to put together on a weekly basis?
I smile because we've been in this world before in the run game. I would say that I have in the past had I've been fortunate enough to have 2 really good running backs in the backfield. Those 2 seasons, both of those 2 seasons, we had multiple 1,000-yard rushers. We had over 40 rushing touchdowns both of those seasons, and we were in that 3,600 to 3,900 rushing yards a season area. We lived in that world because of those 2 guys, and obviously those 2 seasons we were able to throw the ball successfully. Just we threw it a little less, and it was all because of the establishing the run game. So that was at the FCS level. That was at Sam Houston State. So I'd say relative to the level, they were really good for that level. at this level, obviously, I don't think we had two explosive backs at Ole Miss. You know, we were blessed with one really good one each year that I was there. But to have a guy like Javonte and Michael Carter on the same team at this level, able to do what they do, and I think either one of them could probably carry the load if we only had one of them on the roster. But to have both of them, to see what both of them are doing when they're splitting time with the other one is special. And you know, very much like DK Metcalf, and I love to point this out because we have such great kids, but very much like DK Metcalf, you can't find two better people than Michael Carter and Javonte Williams. And they're just as special off the field as they are on. And I think a lot of that lends to their leadership and their work ethic, and it's why they're producing the way they're producing right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
All right, last one for Coach comes from Lucas Tomei. Go ahead, Lucas.
Hey, Coach. In last season's game against Virginia, the offense really came alive. Howell threw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. That was De'Ami Brown's 200-yard, 3-touchdown game. And Virginia's returning a lot of its defensive starters from last season. So how are you factoring that into the offensive game plan and just preparation for the game this week?
We actually feel this is going to be one of the better defenses we see. You know, and it's a really good example of the win-loss record not really representing or being indicative of how good this defense is. They both DNs are really good football players. 91 is somebody you've got to know where he is on the field. They do a really good job running to the football in the box. We had a physical contest up front with them last year. It was an athletic contest in the secondary. I think we tried to take advantage of some individual matchups. We were able to do that on some downs, and we're not on some others. They do a good job pressuring the quarterback, and they're probably the most multiple scheme that we have seen this year. So we certainly respect Virginia's talent on defense, and you add with that just their multiplicity with regards to coverages and pressures, and we're going to have to be on the ball mentally this week. So it's an important week of practice every week, but from a mental standpoint, it's probably a more challenging week than we've seen, and it's going to take our best effort on Saturday to beat Virginia on defense.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach Longo, thanks for your time today.
You got it. Y'all have a great week.